POV. You win $600 million and tell no one. The numbers on your phone don't match the numbers on your ticket. Not at first. Your brain does that thing where it tries to protect you, rearranging digits, telling you it's a mistake, telling you to check again. You check again. 6 numbers. 6 matches. A jackpot worth $600 million. Sitting in your coat pocket on a Tuesday night, printed on a slip of paper you almost threw away with the receipt. Your hands are shaking so bad you can't hold the phone still enough to read the confirmation twice. The kitchen light hums above you. Somewhere down the hall, your family is asleep, completely unaware that the person who just microwaved leftover rice for dinner is now, technically, one of the richest people in the country. You don't scream. You don't call anyone. You sit down on the floor, back against the cabinet, and you just breathe. And somewhere in that first hour, before the shock even wears off, you make a decision that's going to shape the next several years of your life. You decide not to tell a single person. Not your best friend, not your parents, not the person you've shared a bed with for 6 years. Nobody. You've read the stories. Everybody has. Lottery winners broke within 5 years. Families torn apart over money. An uncle nobody liked suddenly showing up with a business plan. You've seen the documentaries about the winners who ended up worse off than before they played. You tell yourself you're smarter than that. You tell yourself silence is armor. So you fold the ticket, put it in an envelope, and hide it inside a hollowed-out book on your shelf. Then you go to bed. You don't sleep. Not really. You lie there running numbers in your head, and somewhere around 4 in the morning it hits you. This is real, and there is no version of tomorrow that looks like yesterday. The next morning, you go to work. That part surprises even you. You clock in, you answer emails, you sit through a meeting about quarterly targets that used to matter and now feel like static. Your manager asks if you're feeling okay. You say you didn't sleep well. That part, at least, is true. Lunch break, you find a lawyer 2 states away. Someone with no connection to your town, your name, your life. You set up a trust before you even claim the ticket. Most states let you do that. Hide behind an LLC, keep your name out of the news. You spend 3 days researching this in bathroom stalls and parked cars, terrified someone's going to glance at your screen. When you finally walk into the claims office, you're wearing sunglasses indoors, like it's going to help. The woman behind the desk barely looks up. To her, you're paperwork. To you, this is the moment your whole life quietly splits into before and after. The money lands in an account with more zeros than you've ever seen attached to your own name. And then, nothing happens. That's the strange part nobody warns you about. You expect fireworks. You get silence. You go home to the same apartment, the same couch with the worn armrest, the same partner asking what you want for dinner. You say pasta. You eat pasta. Somewhere underneath the table sits a phone with a banking app that could buy the building you're sitting in 12 times over, and you say nothing. You keep driving the same car. The check engine light's been on for 2 months, and you still haven't fixed it, because fixing it would mean explaining where the money came from, and you're not ready for that conversation. Not yet. Maybe not ever. The first real test comes 3 weeks in. Your sister calls, crying. Her landlord's raising rent again, and she doesn't know how she's going to cover it along with her son's medical bills. You sit there, phone against your ear, staring at a number in your account that could fix this in 1 transfer. No thought required. You tell her it'll work out. You tell her you love her. You hang up, and you cry harder than she did, because you know exactly how easy this would be to solve, and you're choosing not to solve it. Not because you don't care, but because the second you help her, the questions start. Where did this come from? How much do you have? Why didn't you tell us sooner? You mail her an anonymous gift card instead. Small enough not to raise suspicion. It doesn't feel like enough. It never will. Months pass this way. You start moving money carefully, slowly, through channels that don't trace back to a single Tuesday night. You buy a second property under the LLC, tell people it's an investment property you're managing for a client. You quietly pay off your parents' mortgage through a grant you claim you found online, and you watch your mother cry on the phone thanking a company that doesn't exist, and you sit there taking credit for nothing while giving her everything. You get good at lying. Too good. You notice it in small things, how easily the excuses come now, how naturally you deflect a question about your new watch, your slightly nicer shoes, the trip you took and called a work thing. People don't suspect wealth, they suspect secrets. And you've become someone with a lot of both. There's a night, maybe 8 months in, where your closest friend sits across from you at a bar and says something like, "Is everything okay? You've been different lately." And you almost tell him. The words are right there. You can feel them in your throat. The relief of finally putting this thing down after carrying it alone for so long. You don't say it. Instead, you say you've just been stressed. Work stuff. He nods, doesn't push, orders another round. And you sit there thinking about how strange it is. You have more freedom than almost anyone you know, and in that exact moment, you've never felt more trapped. Security becomes a quiet obsession. Cameras installed by a company you paid in cash. A new lock on a door that already had two. You catch yourself checking who's behind you in the grocery store parking lot, not because anything's happened, but because now you have something to lose, and losing it feels like it could happen at any second. The paranoia doesn't come from the money. It comes from the secret. Keeping something this large hidden takes a kind of vigilance most people never have to practice. Every conversation becomes a small performance. Every gift you give has to look smaller than it is. Every year, this gets a little heavier, not lighter. And yet, you don't regret it. Not exactly. Because you've watched, from a careful distance, what happens to the winners who told everyone. The ones whose names hit the news, whose relatives stopped calling to ask how they're doing and started calling to ask for something. You've read what happened to their friendships, their marriages, their sense of who actually loved them versus who loved what they had. You still don't know, some nights, if silence saved you or just delayed the same reckoning. Maybe one day, you'll sit your family down and tell them everything. Maybe you'll take that secret to your grave, quietly funding the people you love from behind a name that isn't yours. For now, you turn off the kitchen light, same as you did that first night. Same house, same rice in the fridge, same person nobody suspects is worth $600 million. Just a little more tired and a little more alone.